Yes, ma'am.
Hey, are you in town?
Am I in town?
Are you in the office?
Yeah.
Oh, can you possibly come over here? We have
What's
a situation. Sheila Warren's trying to kick somebody out of the office, and it's getting a little escalated, just slightly.
all right, well.
Nothing crazy. All right.
Thanks for calling. This is Danny.
Hey, Danny, this is James. I got a quick
Yes,
question
sir.
that you might
Of
know
course.
of. Would the
I'm in the truck.
subdivision have would the
I'm
subdivision
in,
have
I'm in,
a receipt?
I'm in the truck. If it's a little hard to hear me, I apologize.
Okay, it's all right. Would the subdivision have a receipt on payment if they don't have the paperwork?
I I actually think the reason why that's not in the file is because Linda Cole was out of town on a cruise when that was processed.
Okay. That
So I doubt
310 or whatever.
I doubt there's a receipt, because if she took a receipt for something, she would have put it in the file.
Okay.
So I think I between you and me, what I think happened is it's pretty obvious that Bubba had it, right?
I'm thinking so, but
well, it must be.
I'm
Here's
just
why,
trying to look at all the different sides of this.
yeah. So here's why I say that it must be in the file somewhere, because the officer questioned Kevin about the $10,000 for the materials, right? So without looking at that packet, somehow, some way, how would he have that number in his head? Right?
Well, it should show it on the permit, and I think it did.
Okay. So Bubba had it at some point. It got thrown away or whatever. So here's what I think happened, right? I think Roan, being the new president, tried to flex up on Kevin and said, "Hey, your permit's not in the file," and Kevin told him, "Go to the city and get it," and it never got put into the POA file.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I think. I mean, we have a couple different strong personalities that are, antlering for their area, right? Yeah. So, I mean, and I even asked Kevin, I said, what's the resolution that we're looking for, right? Forget going to court and forget all this crap. I go, what's the resolution? And he said, look, I applied for a permit, it was approved, and I want to build the structure I want to build. So it sounds like, the POA process maybe needs to be upgraded, because it's kind of like, who takes the money, who doesn't when Linda's not around, all these questions,
yeah.
Right?
Well, it should have a paper trail of receiving money somewhere.
Exactly. And I've been after Roan for months to set up a portal set up the website, set up a portal where people can log in and pay their dues or pay for. I said they should be paying to get the packet, right?
Yeah,
so that would resolve everything, right? Pay your money, get the packet, and when I did my permit, right? I made a copy of it for myself. I'm like anal like that, right? So I have like all my copies like that, all right? But not everyone's like that. Yeah. They're like, oh, they got it at the city, or they got it at the, yeah. So, I think, and I don't want to overstep my bounds, but I think that the best resolution here is to say, look, there was, Kevin could have squashed this months ago if he had just retained a copy and given it to the POA. Okay. Right? None of this would have happened, right? Supposedly.
Yeah.
So, I think the resolution is, look, whatever paperwork is on file somewhere, somebody saw something, because, again, they accused Kevin of forging the document. Well, what document did they see that could have been forged, right? So there's a copy of this somewhere. Call it good, right? Whatever's in that file at the city level, make a copy of it and give it to the POA, right?
Yeah.
And call the current permit that's in place good. Now we know going forward as a POA, look, if you're going to be trying to put in 4 carports, it's going to be a headache for you, right? but
That's
he's
where
already got the
it's
structure
right
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already got the structure done, right? It's been 6 months or whatever since the permit was issued. I don't see any upside to penalizing Kevin because Bubba fucked up the square footage on the permit. You know what I mean? And listen, I totally get the fact. Yeah, and I totally get the fact that the officer, might feel like, hey, this is in my purview, and I gotta handle this, right? But quite frankly, I don't want to see my law enforcement, officers chasing down POA paperwork violations, right? If that's what the city wants to do, then change the city code. But as far as it stands right now, this whole thing is over optional paperwork that got lost or misplaced. And I've met Bubba. I think he's a good guy, right? But obviously he was in the wrong seat at the time, right? Yeah. So I mean, and moving forward, listen, let's sit down. I'm not a member of the board anymore, right? But I would love to see the board sit down with the officer, right? Fellow Army grunt. I would love to see them sit down with him and hammer out exactly the procedure that the officer wants to have happen. That way there's no questions at the city level that things get done correctly. Right now it's all haphazard, right? So that would be my recommendation, is that, look, Kevin paid for the permit. He was issued a permit. He built the structure. Call it good, right? And moving forward,
there's a transaction of where he paid though back in.
Well, but again, that's a POA issue. If the POA has an issue,
yes, it happened.
No, I get it. So here's the resolution. If the POA has an issue that they didn't collect $25 or whatever it is, then they can send him an invoice for it. And if he doesn't pay it, then they shut off his access to the park, just like anybody else who doesn't pay any dues.
Yeah, true.
Right? But this is not a law enforcement issue on a $25 permit fee from the POA. That is not in the purview or under the jurisdiction of the City of Onalaska Police Department, right? So that's I mean, I would even go so far as to say, look, if people did try to circumvent the POA process, getting a permit, and they came to you and somehow they got one, then the POA still has their own remedy where they say, hey, you didn't file this paperwork and you didn't pay this fee, so we're going to suspend your privileges for the park and the pool and whatever, right? Until it's paid. Same as, that's their remedy. Their remedy is not to involve the Onalaska Police Department. That is not a remedy that's on the table for a POA. So, that's I think pretty sound. Does it sound like I went to law school at Chapman? Right. So that's the what that taught me is that I did not want to become an attorney, by the way. So
I really want to do that.
Right. So, but I think that's the most equitable solution to this is, yeah, Bubba screwed up. Let's not hang the guy out to dry over it, but it's his screw up, right? The paperwork that he received from Kevin, from the POA, got lost, misscanned, stuck in the wrong file, whatever, right? But it's obvious that he had it. It's obvious if you talk to James Kelly and you talk to Jerry. They said, okay, but they'll verify that they signed it, right? So, yeah, we don't have the physical paper, right? We have pictures of the document. We can share that with the POA, right? Whatever file, I mean, you should, if you have the pictures that Kevin has, I mean, I would get them to you, right? That's the file copy that we give to the POA. If the POA says, well, we're short $25, then Kevin's got to go down and pay $25, right? Yeah. And I think that resolves this thing. But I think the bigger issue is kind of twofold, right? Number one, people can't be running to the police department and expecting them to act on POA business. Now, if someone is dangerous or malicious or whatever, yeah. But stuff like this is not under the purview of the police department, right? That's number one. Number two is they're saying, right. So they're saying that they're missing paperwork. Okay, so give them a copy of what we have. Kevin has all the pictures of the document. I don't know why he took it, but he has pictures of all the documents. It's obvious that Bubba saw the same thing. There wasn't two sets, right? So we'll give that to the POA. But they have to also know that, making these accusations of that Kevin somehow faked a permit or didn't provide the information necessary to get a permit is patently false. That's a false accusation. And they put the officer in a very bad situation where he felt like he had to act, even though he didn't have the jurisdiction. He felt like he had to act because of the false information they gave him.
This is Jimmy here. Let me talk to him real fast.
Okay, sir.
He finally called me
All
back.
right, sir. Are you calling me back, or am I?